Okay, so on this problem, we have to simplify, which means we need to cancel stuff. Now, we can't start canceling right now, right? Because we have the subtracting. So I can't just go like x squared and x squared and x like that. Can't do any of that because we have the subtracting and adding. So what do you got to do? Instead, you got to factor. So when we have adding, subtracting, we must factor because you can only cancel multiplied items, not added, subtracted items. Okay, so got to factor. So let's do that. So how do we factor? Well, if you'll notice on the top, whenever we factor, the first thing to do in factoring is to take out what's in common. See how those three all have an X? That's not the case on the bottom, but it is on the top. They all three have an X, don't they? So I need to take that out. I need to take out an X and put one big old parenthesis, and then that leaves 7x squared minus 10x minus 8. Everybody see that for starters? See what I'm doing there? So I take out what they have in common. Right? If I was to take this x and multiply it back through, it's an x to the 1 power. So that 1 power would add to all those. And so it would go back, wouldn't it? So that's taking out what's in common. That's the first. That's not all. We're going to have more work to do on that top. Now, what about the bottom? Does the bottom, they don't all have an X, but they do all have a number that they're all divisible by. You see it? 6, 15, and 6. What goes into all three of those? 3 does, right? 3. 3 times what, and what? I'm going to put something here with a minus, something here with a plus, and something here, right? What would work? Well, this will be 3 times 2x squared. That'll go back to 6x squared. 3 times 5x, that'll go back to 15. And 3 times 2 will go back to 6, won't it? You see that? So that's the first step in factoring, is to take out what they have in common and do one big parenthesis like that. We're not done. We'll keep going on that one. There's more to do than just that. That's the first step, though. You've got to take out what they have in common. Notice whenever we take out what they have in common, we do one big parenthesis, don't we? So one big parenthesis. And now on the next step, and we're always doing that step so that it would multiply, right? These will multiply and go back, won't they? Now, the next step, we're going to go to the 2 parentheses. So we'll come down here. And so now I'm going to go to 2. So I'm going to leave that X in the front on the top and the 3 in the front on the bottom. And now I'm going to go to 2 parentheses on the top and 2 on the bottom. Why? Because we have x squared, x, no x, x squared, x, no x. And that's always the 2 parenthesis factoring, isn't it? Remember how that works? And so we're going to say, okay, what multiplies, adds, multiplies? All right, so what in the front multiplies to be 7x squared? It's going to be 7x times x. 7x times x is 7x squared, isn't it? Okay. And what multiplies in the back? To be 8. Or negative 8, Well, what multiplies to be 8 is 2 times 4 or 8 times 1, but probably it's the 2 times 4. It's usually the numbers closer together. Remember that? 2 and 4 are only 2 apart from each other. 8 and 1 are 7 apart. So normally the numbers closer together, like 2 and 4. But which order? Because should it be like 2 here and 4 there? Or should it be the other order? Because remember, the order matters now because one of them is next to a 7x and the other is just next to a regular. This is where factoring gets hard. How do we know? How do we know which order? We just try it out and see. It's not this order. I've got it in the wrong order. Let me show you that that's the case. Now, is it positive or negative? Well, just make one of them's got to be positive and one of them negative, right? Because they have to multiply to be -8. So let me just check that. I'll just come over here and I'm just going to check to see if that's right. It's going to be wrong. It's not going to work. When I FOIL this out, it won't work. So let's try. So the 7x goes to both. What do you get? 7x squared minus 28x, and then this 2 goes to both, plus 2x minus 8. Remember, first to both, second to both? Okay, what does that make? Well, in the middle, it makes minus 26x, doesn't it? Minus 28 plus 2. That didn't work. What's the middle supposed to come out? Minus 10. Didn't work, did it? So no go on that one. What am I going to try doing? Switching the signs, huh? So let's switch the signs. Let's put the 4, I'm not the signs, sorry, switch the numbers. Put the 4 there and the 2. So I just switch the numbers, the order matters. This is the way it's going to work. It'll actually work this way. So and now it's got to be 1 negative, 1 positive. Now I don't know which order. Turns out it's the other order, but I'm purposely doing it wrong so I can show you. So let's check that now. So now I'm going to check this one. I know it's got to be 1 negative, 1 positive because they got to make -8. So here we go again. 7x times x. I'm checking again. You just got to keep checking. There's no getting around this. It takes some time and some effort. 7x times 2 is plus 14x. And then minus 4 times x is minus 4x. And minus 4 times plus 2 is minus 8. So did it work? Almost. It's really close. What's the middle? If you gain 14 pounds and then lose 4, you gain 10, right? Remember the middle is adding, subtracting, like weight, gain, and loss, right? If you gain 14 pounds and lose 4, you gain 10. Anyway, it's supposed to be negative 10 in the middle, isn't it? Not positive 10, it's supposed to be negative 10. So how do we fix that? Reverse the signs. If the sign, everything else is good though, right? The -8 at the back, -8 at the back, that's perfect. 7x squared in the front, 7x squared in the front. All the rest is good. It's just the sign in the middle is reversed. So what does that mean? Switch your sign. So make this one positive and make this one over here negative. And now it's good. You could check it if you want. Or this will now be negative 14 plus 4. This is now negative 10, right? If you lose 14 pounds, you gain back 4, you lost 10. It's all good. So if you get the sign in the middle wrong, but everything else right, just switch your signs. That'll switch all the signs. So we got the top right with a lot of work. Let's do the bottom now. Same thing on the bottom. You got to say, okay, what's gonna multiply, add, multiplies. What times what's 2x squared? 2x and x. Okay, and how do they multiply to be 2 at the back? Well, it's got to be 1 and 2, right? What else multiplies to be 2? See how we do the front first and then the back? Everybody seeing that? Questions on mine so far? It's making sense? So 2x times 2x is 2x. Front times front makes front. Remember that? And then you jump to the back. What's going to multiply to be the back? Well, it's got to be 1 times 2, doesn't it? 1 times 2. So how am I going to do that? Well, what if I go 2 there and 1 there? That'll actually be wrong. I'll just prove it. Do we need negatives or positives? We need 2 negatives. How do you know? Because you got to get negative in the middle, but positive at the back. They got to multiply to be positive and add to be negative. That means 2 negatives. Let's check it. It's going to be wrong again, and it'll be the other order. So if you check it, you go boom, boom, you'll get 2x squared minus 2x, and boom, boom, minus 2x plus 2. So that'll be 2x squared minus 4x plus 2. That's not right. The middle is supposed to be minus 5x. So that's wrong. So I need to switch it. So now I'll try switching the 2 and the 1, putting the 1 here and the 2 there. Again, both minus. And let's check it one more time. So this will work. So this will go to both and be 2x squared minus 4x. And then this will go to both. Minus 1x plus 2. So this is minus 5x in the middle now, isn't it? Right? If you lose 4 pounds, lose 1 pound, you lost 5 pounds. See, it's perfect now. It's exactly what we want. Minus 5x in the middle, plus 2 at the back. Beautiful. That's it. That's the right factoring. Okay. After all that factoring, now Now we can cancel what? Just those x minus 2s. All that work just to cancel those x minus 2s at the back, huh? All of that. So you're looking to be able to cancel something. And so those are cancelable. And so what are we left with then? We're left with x on the top along with 7x plus 4 over what's on the bottom, 3 and 2x minus 1. Everything else is left. Nothing else can cancel. And so that's it. So they want the numerator and they want the denominator. So the numerator is going to be the x times 7x plus 4. The denominator is going to be 3 times 2x minus 1. So that was a lot of work. So one more time, the first step in factoring is you got to take out what's in common with the one big parenthesis, top and bottom. If there's a number that goes into all of them or a letter they all share, that means it's in common. And you got to take it out with one big parenthesis. And then when you have x squared, x, no x, that means you go on to the two parentheses with the multiply, add, multiply. And you just got to keep checking, putting stuff in and then multiplying it out to see if it's right. Once you've got the top and the bottom right, then you can cancel. And we're left with the reduced top and bottom. There we go.